you're leaving money on the table. And I want to talk about two things you can do right now to fix your website and your listings in order to make more people reach out to you, more people want to do business with you. It starts with your website. And if your website is set up to where it has some random information, I'm going to try and blur this out so you can't see who this is, but this is a client, and they have on their website a nice picture at the top here, and it's a redone kitchen, new appliances, looks very nice. They list their services, kind of some funky looking design here, but they list their services. But if you click on their services, there's nothing there. There's nothing further to read about. If you come up here and go to services, it then lists each of the services that they offer and has one sentence about each of them. So here's the thing. I see websites like this all the time, almost every day. It's kind of sad in a way, but in another way, it's also just understanding that the people, who own this service-based business aren't marketing experts. They're building experts and contracting experts. They know how to make a kitchen look great. So I'll teach you exactly what you need to do to set up your website so that it performs better. We call it Launchscape. And Launchscape is the setup so that your website speaks directly to your who about their why. Your ideal client about why they should pick you. So if you look at my website, Ryan Speltz Marketing, we set it up this way, but it goes through talking about who we talk to, small businesses that want to grow. We throw in there what we do to even capture their attention a little bit more and make a quick send through to different places. Then we talk about the cost of the alternative. You could talk about pain points here. You could talk about something that's emotional. You see, most of the time when people build websites, they're not thinking about the sales approach. They're not thinking about how they could turn someone from a browser into a buyer. We think about that all the time. And a great sales approach goes through and talks about not only does the website need to look good, but it needs to help sell, right? So it talks about who you are and what you do. Don't be vague here. Second thing, what's the cost of alternative or the pain point that someone's feeling? Maybe they're tired of something in your industry, or maybe they, really need help with something. If you're a plumber and someone's in a hurry, just have a call us button on there. Make it as easy as possible for them to get a hold of you. You could have a contact chat bot down here, something along those lines that will say, hey, we're here to serve you, because if they're in a hurry, their toilet's overflowing, they're going to call you quickly. So have that available. Make it as smooth as possible. If they send you a message here, don't text back and say, call us at our office. That's the kind of person that doesn't want to call you. Make it as frictionless as possible for them to do business with you. Then you want to go into what makes you different. Talk about the things that are unique about you. Make it easy again to get started with you. Talk about your services. You can have them listed here. You can have them linked so that they can go in and get more information about each of those services. And then you have a more detail there. Now for SEO, you can have this page, which has a listing of all your services. Then you can go to the next page, which has even more information. This builds what's called a robust site. A robust site has lots of information that you can use to help someone understand what you do and why you do it. So these are key points to a great website. Then, of course, how do you do business with us? How does it work? What do I need to do? Then you can have tools or lead captures, lead magnets is what a lot of people call them. This is one we do. We do a free scan for businesses, which we'll talk about in just a second. Another tool that we give is our Google profile suspension readiness kits. Suspensions happen sometimes. I've had them happen to my clients. And so this little kit is something that people can come to and set up for themselves and be 100% ready. You can come here now if you want to get one. I don't even require an email address because that's just how I work. But get it, write down, take notes on all these things so you know what to have ready in case you do some optimizations to your Google business profile and Google suspends you. Now, sometimes they're suspending you just temporarily, but if you have all this ready and you send it off to Google when they ask for proof of who you are, you'll be reinstated every time. It works awesome. So, but you could have something like that for your business. I talked to a dog trainer the other day, and she had the ultimate guide to getting started with a puppy. And she's like, I get 4 or 5 downloads a week from that. Well, 4 or 5 people being added to her email list so that she can market to them later, talk about new products she has, new offers that they're going through. You want to build a list. That's a really important thing. I like a success statement. It's time to soar. We want businesses to grow. That's our primary goal with our company. What's your primary goal? What do you want to accomplish for your customers? Then we have some more lead capture and free tools. I love tools personally, and so we create these free tools to help our clients be able to utilize tools that will help them do better in their marketing. Plus, it's also lead capture opportunity for us, so we can do business with people. We have a newsletter we send out about marketing, and then our latest content and articles from our blog, and then, of course, details about our company and our Instagram profile. And that's it. Lots of ways to get a hold of us, lots of ways to contact us. They can chat with us, they can call us. Make it super simple, as little friction as you can for your customers to reach out to you to try and do business with you. We're a Yelp partner, and it's funny because businesses will get a lead through Yelp and they'll say, call us at our office. Well, if that lead's coming in on a messaging service, that person's probably not going to call you. So instead, engage with them on the message. And then when it gets to an opportune time when you can say, hey, I'd like to schedule something, or I'd like to get on the phone with you and get the details. Would you mind if we do a phone call? Then they're going to respond, sure, because you've built some rapport with them, and they now know that they can trust you or believe you. So don't go too soon on those things. Okay. Now, the other problem is if you don't give enough detail about what you're doing. So first of all, we can do citing. That's great. It's not particularly convincing that you're good at it. It's not, demonstrating why you're an expert in that field. Now, if you've got a referral coming into you, it's great. This is probably enough because they trust you, they like you, because their friend used you. But if it's a new lead or somebody who's coming in organically from your website or from Google to see your website, they're going to have questions. They're going to want to see examples. They're going to want to know that you're an expert. And, so you could take and do a remodeling and do several different projects that you have for that, as a remodeler, several different roofing projects that you've done, windows and doors. Then you can also take and build authority with Google by giving better and bigger explanations of the work that you do, so that people will kind of realize, oh yeah, they really do know. But it's more than just for people. You definitely want to write it for people, but you're also writing it for Google, because Google's paying attention to what you say too. And they're going to give you kind of a score. It's like a grade. And the higher your grade, the higher you're going to show up on Google search. Well, your grade comes in from a lot of different factors that I'm going to go over today, but one of those is the volume of keywords that you're using in your website and the helpful content that you're providing that readers are going to learn from, so that they can, so they can know that you are good at what you do and that you have experience. You can show your work, but these are just random photos on this particular site, and we're getting ready to redo this site, so we'll be able to fix it, get all of those things that we're talking about lined up so that it makes more sense for the people who are visiting the site and does a better job of being a salesperson for you. I truly believe a website should be a sales tool for you. It should work 24/7, getting people to take a look at your services and consider doing business with you. The more of that you have, the better customers are they're going to come in. They're going to be easier to work with. They're going to know how you work, what you do, and they're going to, want to do business with you. It's one of the reasons why creating content is so important, like this, because if you're doing business with someone that you've never heard of before, but you've seen their videos and you're like, okay, I trust that they're good at what they do. I saw that house they did, or I saw the paint job that they did on this other, on Facebook or whatever, then you can trust them and you can go into details there. All right, so the next thing is now showing up where people are looking. And so one of the places people look is, I'll type in roofer near me, and in my area, you've got these LSA, these are a paid ad. You can do LSA ads or Google guaranteed. You also have sponsored, these are traditional pay-per-click ads. People who are in the business, like me, marketing companies can sell these to companies, or you can go in and do it yourself in Google. But these are organic roofing listings on the Google business profile. The better you are at detailing what you do in here, the more likely you are to show up and show up higher in Google search. One of the tools that, or one of the services that we'll do is we'll do Google Business Profile Optimization. What optimizes a profile are things like attaching to a website that makes sense. Like if you say you're a roofing expert and you go to the website and you have tile on your website, no roofing information, doesn't make sense. That's going to degrade your score from Google. Having a good number of listings for all the services that you perform, having a good number of reviews. There's a term called velocity where Google is kind of judging how often you interact with the tools that they provide you. This is a free tool. They want you to interact with it. They want to have updates and reviews from people consistently. They like to see these posts that talk about the things that you've done and have pictures attached to them. Adding photos recently and consistently is also really good. So looks like their most recent update was 4 days ago. So this is a company that's doing a good job of managing their Google business profile, and it's making them show up higher on Google Maps. Highly recommend doing this, being very specific and clear about who you are and what you do. Not only that, but you can also come in and make updates about your hours and say, okay, for the holiday, we're going to be closed. I didn't mean to do that, but people are going to call you sometimes from this. They're going to visit your website, understanding who's coming here, what they're looking for. Obviously, this would be a person looking for roofing and wanting help with roofing. Now, ASHCO also shows up their web results, so they show up on their website, on the Better Business Bureau, and on MapQuest. So your listings can show up there too if you have listings from different sources. That's another part of showing up higher, is having citations across the web with standardized information. So your phone number, your hours, your address, your service areas, those should all be the same across all your listings if they have that part as part of their listings. So your services should all be the same. So anyway, maximize your profile. If you need help with that, let us know. But this is really something, it's a free tool. You can do it. You can set it up if you are new and get it dialed in so that you're ready to go using that free tool. And then you start working on optimizing it. When we do this for companies as a paid service, we do it and on a consistent basis. So every month we're doing stuff to add to their profile. We're asking them to get reviews and give us photos. That's all we ask for. Everything else we do for them so that that velocity score is high and it shows that they're active on their site or on their profile. So that's step number one in getting people to know. Because once you build this great website, this Launchscape website, if nobody knows about it, they're not going to come visit it. They're not just going to find it magically. You have to show up somewhere, whether that's through advertising where you tell them, hey, go visit my website, it's really cool. Or if it's through, organic listings, people search for things. They might find you through a Facebook post. They might find you by searching for a roofer near me. I know where ASHCO Roofing is. They're just down the street. And so they're a local roofer in my area. So you want to show up where people are looking. Beyond the map is also Google organic listings. So those are going to come down here. Now, Yelp and Angie's List, and in this case, the Better Business Bureau, tend to dominate local organic search because they do these articles all the time. The best 10 roofing companies near me, 10 best roofers in Ogden, Utah. They're dominating those, but you could write articles about these things as well if you wanted to. But here's a top performing roofing company in our area that does really well with organic listings. And here's a client of ours, Rand's Roofing. We've got them number 2 locally listed organic roofing companies. And there's ASHCO again. Your website SEO actually contributes or can pull away from your map listing. So you want your website to be very good. You want it to show up in Google search. You want to be registered with the Search Console. The Search Console is a tool offered by Google where you can take the site map of your website and provide it to Google and say, here's our website. Here's all the parts that we want you to know about. Here's all the pages that we have. Over time, as you do SEO practices. You're going to add pages and you're going to add keywords and you're going to add things to it consistently. That will help that performance continue to climb as time goes on. And so that search will show up higher as you do those things. So there's really only 3 things to SEO. So if you're brand new and you're like, all right, I want to try and do SEO, I'm not ready to hire a company like Ryan Spelt's Marketing yet. So here's what you need to do. 1, you've got to get the technical setup of your website done right. And that technical setup is fairly basic. There's some important pieces, like your sitemap is important to tell Google what's where and what it means and why you set up your site the way you did. You should also know what your structure is of the site, its continuity. And think about back in high school when you had to make an outline for a paper you were writing. That's all that Google's looking for in your website, is at the top of the page is H1 or header 1. Down below that is not header 4 because you like the font, it's header 2, and then you can change the font, but it should be classified as header 2. It's just set up like an outline. And then below that is content, right, or regular text. And then below that is another header 2. And if that has a subheader, then that's header 3. So that's the canonical order of things for a website. That's important to Google. Making sure the pages load quickly, that they also work on mobile phones. That's another technical requirement that Google has. And also you want to talk to it like it's blind. I actually work with the Ogden Association of the Blind, and we built their website recently, and I learned a lot. First of all, everything on this website has to be huge, right? Because a lot of these folks don't see very well, clearly, because they're Association of the Blind. And so we made everything very big. But the other thing we had to do is I had to really focus on accessibility, the ability for a reader to use it and to have accessibility features, but also alt descriptions. So instead of seeing this image and, it's straight from your iPhone or something and it says, IMG_1269, like that's nothing to Google. It doesn't mean anything. But when you say a man with glasses trying to see something on his computer, that's a great alt description. Or because he's blind, even better, because it includes the keyword that they want to rank for. And so that's alt descriptions, meta descriptions. All of those things matter for different reasons. The search engines are going to look at all of those things. The better you do and the more of that you do, they're going to rank you higher. They're going to give you a better score. Okay, so the technical setup includes having a sitemap, mobile responsiveness, page load speed, and less shifting. Like if the website opens up, you've probably done this before, you open a website and you go to click on something, and right as you go to click, it like shifts and moves out of the way and you click on the wrong thing. Google doesn't like that either. They want a good experience. Data set up so your H1 to H4, H5, whatever it is, your headings are set up properly, they make sense. You want to fix any errors that are on your site. You don't want any broken links. When we do a 24-point to a perfect website audit, we're always checking all the buttons, links, everything, just to make sure it all works and goes to the thing that it's supposed to go to. You'd be surprised how often we end up not seeing that. SERP pages. So SERPs are things like if I search for Nike, for example, I'm not going to go to their website. I just want to search for Nike. These are SERPs, search engine report or pages. So results pages. So kids, if I type in Nike kids, then this will show up. But I'm also seeing these pages that are over and above just their regular website. Specifically, if I want to look at Jordans, now here's Jordans underneath Nike. These are search engine result pages. On a local level, what you could do is pick nearby cities and do a page on each city. That page should include the keywords that you're trying to rank for, which we'll talk about here in just a second, but they should also include the service area that you're serving. And so you can really get a lot of mileage by doing extra cities. Each page, each city gets its own page. You don't just list the page, but you talk about that city, and then you talk about how you've done work in that city. And it's even better if you can then take that listing, do the city, and then have reviews from customers that live in that city. even better, because then you're really showing that, yes, I work there. We are specialists in this city or that. And so that's another level of search engine optimization. Okay. Then you go into keywords. Now, keywords are crucial. You want to have those local services pages. Like I said, you want to have meta titles, descriptions, alt descriptions. Everything should contain your keywords. So your keywords are going to be interesting because you have primary keywords like plumber near me. As you can imagine, plumber near me is really tough to rank for, right? Because every plumber wants to rank for plumber near me. So those are called high competition, but they're basically primary keywords. Sometimes they could be just plumber, just the one word. Well, you want to, they're great and they're big fish, and you eventually want to try and rank for those. But a lot of times there's short or longer, those are called short tail keywords, long tail keywords or phrases or something like this. Emergency plumber in Ogden, open now, right? That's somebody looking very specifically for your service right now. And so that's a long tail phrase. And sometimes those have higher or have a decent number of searches, but a lower amount of competition that are qualifying for that keyword. So you could take that phrase after doing some keyword research, which I'll show you how to do in just a second, and you could apply that to or put it on your page somewhere and say emergency plumber in Ogden, open now as a page title, and then talk about how you're open 24/7 and how you serve customers in the Ogden area. Have that be a full page. And if there's not a lot of competition on that particular keyword, you'll show up very quickly there. If you do it pretty consistently as part of your posting and a part of your expansion of your website, you'll see yourself rank higher there either. And so here's some examples of different long tail phrases for different home services companies that you could use. These can be gold. They really can. If you get the right ones, they can really benefit you a lot. And so also related terms. So related terms are terms that would go along with those keywords that you're trying to qualify for. So if you're a roofer, obviously things like shingle, roof replacement, hail damage, roof inspection, those are all things that people are also searching for that are related. You want to utilize those as well. Same thing, here's a plumber, water heater, clogged drain, pipe leak. They don't say plumber per se, but they're related to plumber. And so you want to make sure you qualify for those keywords. And you want to weave these in naturally. It used to be back in the early days of SEO, you could just load a website, even like if you had a white screen, put it in white print at the very bottom and nobody could even see that it's there, but it's all these keywords that you qualify for. Now Google wants what's called helpful content. So it has to actually make sense to a potential human reader, and Google's bots are getting smarter and smarter every day. And now they're using AI and they're paying attention. Does your stuff actually make sense? Now, one of the pieces that's interesting is that you need to think about who you're trying to capture, because if you're just giving information like how to fix a leaking faucet, although that's good, like that person's probably a DIYer. They may not be looking to hire a plumber. You want the person who says, I have a leaking faucet, I need help, right? That's, if you're a plumber, you want the person looking for help. Now, if you are a plumbing school and you're teaching, some very basic skills of plumbing to potential students that would come to your school, that might be a different intent-driven keyword strategy. And so you want to think about who's looking for you, why they're looking, what situation they're in, what's happening. And then you also want to think about why they're thinking about hiring you, what's different about you than everybody else they're looking at. And that's what you want your website to contain, is that convincing piece that says we're the choice for you. So, but this is intent-driven targeting. Think about who it is, what they're looking for. Now, if they're searching for you directly, they're going to come up with your stuff. And so you could do a page that says John's Plumbing Services Reviews, right? That specifically does that. It shows up high in Google search. People find it immediately, and then they can look through your reviews and they're on your website. Now you have an opportunity to retain them, an opportunity to capture that business, because maybe their friend said, oh, we use John's Plumbing. They go search John Plumbing reviews. They're going to pull up that page if you have a page titled that. And so thinking about what people are going to do when they're in need of what you have, and then answering those questions is really important. I'll show you a couple of tools that I like to use that help with keyword research. So One is answerthepublic.com. This is a tool that I really like because it gives you questions that you can answer. So I just typed into here for Google search, plumber near me. It's going to do a little bit of research. It's going to look at Google analytics and data and tell me what questions people are asking about in the United States. There's some tools you can break down to the cities and to the different, or I mean to the states, but there's over 1 million searches a month for plumber near me. This is a high need one, right? When your toilet's overflowing, nobody's happy. But here's the questions people are asking. Where can I find a plumber near me? Where can I buy a liquid plumber near me? Where can I get a plumber near me? Now you could write an article that says, you might be asking, where can I buy liquid plumber near me? But here's 10 things to do before you get liquid plumber, or here's some things to consider, and write an article about that, or have a SEO company like Ryan Speltz Marketing write an article for you every month that answers one of these questions or multiples of these questions. How much is a plumber near me? It's so common. How many times have you thought about looking into something and you're like, well, how much is it? And it's like, free trial, you get 7 days free. I'm like, yeah, but how much is it after that? I want to know the price before I get into something. So less friction, the better, so that people can do business with you. There's also others that have plumber near me with a camera. Why do you think they're asking that? It's because they've seen people with those drain cameras feed them down in and try to find out what's down inside their pipes that's causing them problems. So plumber near me with a camera, right? One of your services is we're a plumber near you with a camera. We can show you what's happening inside your drain. Plumber near me, again, these are highly searched, tons and tons of searches. So you can answer these questions. That's a great one. Another way to know what questions people are asking is just to Google it. Plumber near me. So here's plumbers in my area, and I recognize most of these. But you come down here and you see this section that says people also ask. Well, that's a section that Google says people ask this enough that we're going to put this on our search results. In fact, it's one of the first things on this one, right? You got the paid ads up here, you got the maps. That's why Google Maps optimization is so important. And then you have people also ask, very first thing, before even the Yelp and Angie's List and all that stuff. So what happens if you write a blog article like this? How much do most plumbers charge per hour? Well, Bridget Bench wrote this article about this. Now, if that's a plumber, which I don't know if it is, we're going to click on it and see. It looks like, what do they do? Looks like they may be just an information company or something, not a plumber. So if you're in a local area and you answer this question and you talk about it, when they're on your website, now they could say, you know what, I want to do business with these guys. They answered my question. And so you might get a phone call or a message instantly just by answering those questions. Are plumbers expensive to hire? Hiring a plumber costs between $45 and $200 per hour, with average total labor costs of $336, and most homeowners paying between $180 and $494. Well, that's information you could come across. And if you do this well, you could outrank HomeAdvisor, because they actually don't perform as well on local search as you will, because there's a proximity score that happens within Google's algorithm. And so if you do this well, you can rank higher than these massive companies that are doing this. They just do it really well. That's why they show up all the time. So that's advanced SEO techniques and approaches that will help you rank higher. Now you can get into expensive tools as well. So we use SEMrush to do SEO research. We'll look at keywords. One of the tools that's fun to look at is keyword gap, meaning if I'm in the roofing industry, what keywords are missing. You can have it help you with a strategy, come up with keywords to focus on for questions that people are asking. You can help analyze your backlinks and what different things customers are, different companies that are linking to your website. And so if we go back to the the list here, let's see, your backlinks are part of your authority. Okay. Just a side note before I go on to authority, FAQs are a great way to answer those questions on your website. So have a FAQ page, go get all the questions that people are asking on Google and answer the public, put them on your FAQ page, and have each of those go to an expanded page that answers a question in detail, and that'll help your SEO ranking really well. Okay, authority. Now, authority, these are what Google looks at to say, okay, is this just a single guy in a truck out doing plumbing, or is this a company that could serve people in this area that's legitimate, that's licensed, that's insured, and all of those things? So they've come up with their own score table, their own grading system for saying whether or not you get to qualify to rank higher in Google rankings. This is why it takes a while to do SEO, because sometimes it just takes time to do that. Backlinks are one of those tools. If you get an article written and your local, or you write an article on your website, post it to your blog, and your local news company finds it and it talks about, 5 unique ways to clear a clogged drain, and your local news company picks it up and they post it on their website and they link to your website, that's a very powerful backlink, okay? But you can also just get citations, like Yelp is a citation that's free, the Yellow Pages is a citation. Anywhere that will give you a free listing, that can be good. That's one of the services we do for customers when we're doing SEO, because the more sites linking back to their profile and linking back to their website, the better their score is going to be from Google, especially if they're all identical. And they just see, okay, yes, this is the same company, and they're listed everywhere. Also, brand signals. So social media shows up in your search ranking. Social media is going to now actually help your SEO. So you definitely want to be putting out content that answers the questions people are asking. It matters. Plus, you want to do branding. You want to make sure people know your brand, because it's much easier to capture someone if they know your brand. In fact, I think the very first one here is Whipple Service Champions. This is a very big company down in Salt Lake. And I met with the owner one time, and he said, advertise so that people don't search plumber near me. I advertise so people search Whipple. And it's way easier to show up when people search your name. So that's another form of advertising, is to make sure people are searching for your name instead of your service. So when they know you, they're going to search for you. Another part of this is the EEAT. You may have heard of this before, but basically it just means, do you demonstrate that you have experience? Do you demonstrate that you have expertise? Do you have authoritativeness? Or does your site just say, we do roofing, and the climate of central New York demands a strong and tightly sealed roof. Let CNOA Exteriors handle you up. That doesn't explain your authoritativeness, your expertise, or your experience. Do you have trustworthiness? That's where reviews are so important. And so this EEAT is so important. It's such a crucial piece of SEO to build your authority and to demonstrate that you are who you say you are and that you're good at it. Have examples, show exactly what you do. Have reviews, show those reviews that people give you for doing a good job. Here's some ways you can do this. You can do guides, you can do press releases, get press mentions, like I mentioned, getting a news company in your local area to publish your article. Collaborate with other people, collaborate with social media sites or influencers, and get other websites to list your stuff. Like, those are all tools you can use to get more authority and build it on your website. You can also do interesting things like build local backlinks via sponsorships, directories, guest posts, and partnerships. Like, those are all great because they're local and they're real. Get your high school is doing something and you sponsor it, and you ask, hey, will you list my name and my logo on your website for this, band festival that you're running, or whatever it is that they're doing. The age of your site, as you may know, matters. It's tough you can't make your site older all of a sudden. So if you have a brand new site, it's going to take time for that to happen. But the longer your site exists and that you continue to add to it, the better you're going to perform on that. And this counts too, the number of pages and words. I had a day spa that asked me, they were like, why do I always come up second when this other day spa that's our competitor comes up first? We did a scan of their websites. The day spa that was always number one had 400 or 500 pages on their website. They had all this information, all pertaining to their business, all including keywords and local service areas. And this client had about 100. And I was like, they just have 5 times more pages than you that are good. They're not just garbage pages, they're real and they're good. So these are things that if you want to take advantage of the low-hanging fruit, the people who are already looking for you, they're already wanting to do business with you, these are some simple things. Now, I get that SEO can be a little bit overwhelming. It can be challenging to know how to do all of those things, but you can start simple by just answering questions people have on your page, maximizing your profiles. So maximize your Google business profile, maximize your website so that you have not only a Launchscape homepage, but then your service pages are detailed out. You can use tools like ChatGPT. Now, if you don't coach it through it, it's going to give you very generic answers. But if you spend some time in there and you say, okay, here's what's important to me, here's the things that we're really good at, here's what we want customers to know about us, please write a description for our remodeling service. ChatGPT will give you a good answer and say, make sure there's keywords in there for bathroom remodel, kitchen remodel, all of the services that you do. When you do that, it'll give you good answers. You can make a page on your website for that and include that there. Those are things we do when we do SEO for a company. I thought it might help some of you to look at that. You got to start with a great website. That's number one. And I highly encourage you to take the time. I always say when you're young or new as a business person, you have time and no money. And so spend your time doing these things, getting things dialed in. And when you are experienced in business and a little more established, you've got money and no time. That's when you hire someone like us to do it for you. But I'll include all of these things in the description for the YouTube video so that you can kind of use this as a resource. Doesn't matter what your business is, this will work for any of them. The more competitive, the longer it takes because those other businesses are running the same race and they're ahead of you. So give it some time, be patient with it, follow these tools, these steps, and you will rank higher. And I wish you luck.